Hey, welcome to Music Causation, episode 9. Steve, we got another great one for you.
Yeah.
We've had 8 shows, we've had some great, even Hall of Famers,
Yep.
But we have another great guest. We have Michael Haymans on the show today via Florida, if I'm not
Live from
mistaken.
Florida.
So he will be joining us, and we will be talking about, of course, the One of 52 Hunger Network. We will talk about his career in music and, all of the events that he does for various topics. And he will play some music for us, and it's going to be a good time. And I hope everybody out there joins in the conversation. Please, please, please throw some comments, ask some questions, do what you need to do to be part of the show. Be part of the show. So, without further ado, we are going to invite Michael Haymans on the show now. How are you, Michael?
It's a good morning here in Florida. How about you?
It's always a good morning when we do this. I mean, like we feel, I don't know, just extra pumped when we do this because it's so meaningful.
I like the way you reach out across the world to through people who have a passion to share the passion out there. Thanks for asking me on.
Yeah, and so Steve, first of all, before we go any further, let's talk about what One of 52 Hunger Network is and why we're even here.
Sure. And first of all, the show is called Music Causation. And when we were trying to come up with a name for the show, I fell in with the name because causation means cause and effect. And One of 52 Hunger Network is all about the cause, all about the effect, and taking action. What we do is we ask folks to take a minimum of one action in 1 week of the year to help end hunger. So it really couldn't be any simpler. All you need to do is somehow use your talents, and everybody has a special talent, whatever it is, to help to take action to end hunger. The cause started about 30 years ago, and it was based around music and the arts. But it has really evolved to become more about what people's talents are. So whatever your talents are, feel free to join us. You can visit our website at oneof52.net and learn about how to do this and learn who else is involved. See how folks from all over America and even our first one in Europe has joined together to create this incredible strength in numbers network. And you can start in very, very simple ways. There's no fees or dues to belong to our network. You just decide how you're going to help. You decide who you're going to help. And then 100% of all proceeds and all actions goes directly to the hunger or poverty organization of your choice. So it couldn't be simpler, but it couldn't be more powerful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Being in Europe, I mean, that's big.
Yeah, Al Copley, he's originally from Rhode Island. He resides in Europe now, and he takes action from Europe. So we have our first of 52 across the pond.
There we go. This is exciting, and and I know the show is seen all over the place, and we keep mentioning like Sao Paulo and Egypt, and we have a lot of places that people watch the show or listen
in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, the Philippines. We always seem to have like Chakra that tunes in from Seattle. And of course, right here in Rhode Island, we have the majority of our viewers are, from the Providence area and Pawtucket, of course. And unfortunately, Steve, we were supposed to be on location today at the Green on Main, and they had some door problems. I went there and they couldn't open the door. So we're in the studio today. But as long as we get the message out there and we still can do our thing, that's what really matters. So hopefully next week we can be right back at the Green on Main.
You know, I met you guys through Chakula Smith from
Yeah.
Rhode Island, and Chakula, I mean, his name means food.
Yeah.
He's been passionate about it with the Hunger Bus, part of that organization. But I always had this little question about how did people from Rhode Island, how did this become the epicenter of such an important message and cause? How did y'all get started with this?
Well, you know, there's a couple of stories there. One thing is we have this gentleman in our state called Alan Sean Feinstein, who's a major entrepreneur, and he's led some efforts to make Rhode Island a hunger-free state. And he's had certainly levels of success with that, and he's visited local schools in Rhode Island with children especially. And I'm really carrying on some of his tradition, and we are continuing his quest and his vision to make Rhode Island a food secure state. And one thing that for myself, I know I grew up in the music industry, and you know, I go all the way back to the George Harrison Bangladesh concerts and observing everything that happened all up through the years with Live Aid and We Are the World and Harry Chapin's World Hunger Year organizations. And you know, there's been so much action in that area. And even though I'm a dreamer, I knew I'd probably never be able to stage a concert of that magnitude. So I just started thinking, well, what can I do? So I had this idea of, you know, why not have something much more grassroots and much more ongoing? And this is just a concept that is not a big concert happening all at once, but it's spread out over the weeks and over the years. And I think it can be every bit as powerful as staging a live event or a huge event. And who knows, maybe we will eventually get to that point where we stage a huge event, but we do have some great local events happening. So Rhode Island, we're a small state. You know, in my mind, I think there's no reason in the world why we can't be a food secure state, a hunger-free state. And why not here? And, you know, it's all within the realm of possibility. Hunger shouldn't even exist in America. So if we can't cure hunger in the smallest state in the union, really, where can we end hunger? And people always ask me, where can hunger possibly come to an end? And I think it can happen in Rhode Island and specifically in the community. And this is a grassroots organization that gets right down into the local communities. And that's where hunger can actually come to an end where people within the community taking action, caring about it, and just making it happen.
Well,
Yeah.
your energy has rippled down to here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Chakula started on a very similar path 30 years ago, and then we converged, and we've been complementing each other's organizations for many years. And we're up and running in Rhode Island. We have actually more than 52 weeks of the year accounted for in Rhode Island. We're up and running in several states, Florida being one of our strongholds. And we're just going to keep going. My dream is to eventually have a core network of 52 in each state, each representing 1 week of the year, all working toward the same goal of ending hunger. And, you know, it's eminently solvable in America. You know, for God's sakes, we waste 40% of the food in this country. And we do have events coming up that talk specifically about food waste. So that's a big part of the solution.
So you have a big event coming. I believe it's May 5th through 7th.
Yeah, Friday, May 5th. It's an evening concert from 6 o'clock until 10. We have some really good acts that we're looking forward to. And then Saturday on the 6th, it's 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening. And then Sunday from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And then we break down and go. It's an outdoor concert. We've been doing it for 19 years. It started as a celebration of our history in Punta Gorda, because we're since 1926 have been proclaimed the city of hibiscus, and that got rediscovered in about 2004 as the National Hibiscus Association was coming to Punta Gorda for their annual gathering. And so we welcomed them by putting on a big feast and a concert and this 3-day opportunity for vendors of hibiscus and other exotic plants to provide that. But we did it also as with the intention that it be our local music festival. It's primarily local and regional artists that perform. We do have Mike Younger coming from Nashville this year. He's been with us before. He's got a Friday night set and a Saturday set. We have Craig Kenning he's from Chicago, but he's a few years ago he was the national slide guitar champion for the United States of America. And so powerful talent, local bands that are rock and roll bands, local bands that sort of got together through our group that meets. We have an informal gathering across every Thursday during the year called the Punta Gorda Guitar Army. It's a neo-beatnik revolutionary ensemble that really started as a couple of us, a handful that needed a place to play regularly, and so we did that. There was a couple of important people in that. Johnny Cole, who has passed, he and I started playing music together and started going there to the park. And Steve Blackwell, who's also passed, but was the one that under whose tutelage the Guitar Army really blossomed. And so there's this connectivity between where we are in Gilchrist Park in downtown Punta Gorda and the Hibiscus Festival and the musicians and the location. And so there was just sort of a coming together of all kinds of parts. And we enjoyed doing it so much that we kept it up, and we've been doing it almost every year. We got blown out by hurricane aftermath of Hurricane Charlie, and then the aftermath of COVID. We didn't have it one of the years, but it is a labor of love of a handful of community-minded people. It's this year. It's to benefit the Charlotte County Historical Society. Also, Meals on Wheels, which is our local affiliate that makes sure that gets hot food, well-prepared meals out to people who are otherwise homebound, and the Hunger Bus. And so there's 3 groups that are important parts of this community that are part of the Hibiscus Festival. I have to tell you, it's an outdoor concert and it rains and they scare me. But I've produced 19 years of doing this. We've done some other, tried to do the big events, and you would think that for the purposes that we were doing it, that God would smile upon us and provide good weather. That's not how that works necessarily.
Well, thank you for doing it. Thank you for making hunger and food such an important part of the Hyde Festival. And I'm sure Chakula was very instrumental in helping bring that about. He's just been an amazing, amazing supporter. And when one of my mantras is I always say all the solutions are out there. And if you look at Meals on Wheels, such an amazing organization. And I often fantasize, what if they were fully funded and basically had all the money they needed to operate? They could almost literally, if they were to expand their organization and operation beyond, I don't want to say just seniors, but beyond seniors, and include many other people from all walks of life, really what an impact they could make on getting food out to the community. I would love to see them just be as funded as they needed to be.
Think about if we had our priorities turned around, we would the Air Force would have to do bake sales for airplanes instead of us having to do bake sales for all of the good things that we're trying to do.
You got that right. You got that.
Yeah, right. I see that. It would be nice. So if you're out there, if you're heading to Florida this weekend, I believe it is, right?
It's next weekend. So they have a week and a half to make their plans. They have time to get tickets.
Yeah. So head on down to Florida, May 5th through the 7th to the Hibiscus Festival
in Punta Gorda.
Yeah,
Punta Gorda on the southwest coast.
Right. So you can go to the hibiscusfestival.com. That is THEHIBISCUS festival.com.
Yeah, just one word, thehibiscusfestival.com. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So check that out. We've been showing it up there, so people can check it out. And if you're in the Florida area, and I know some people in Florida, Becky, go there. Let's go. And I know you watched the show because you've commented on it. so head on over there. Is going to be a great time, great music, great cause. Like, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, really. When you're getting that talented of people together to put on such a spectacular performance, and for the cause, it's just a must. It's a must go to. Must.
And another one of 52 members performing with you too, right? Bill Metz. We had Bill on the show a couple weeks back.
Yep.
Bill Metz will be there. He's in the lineup. Yep.
He's an
Chakula's
amazing
in the
talent.
lineup.
So speaking of great music, Michael, why don't you treat us to one of your songs and give people an idea of what they're in store for?
This is Groceries. I figured that we're going to be talking about hunger and awareness of hunger. I've got one called Groceries. So
Beautiful.
if you please, sup with me. We've got plenty. Have a seat round the table, eating groceries. Pass the butter. Yes, ma'am, I'll have tea. Mama baked biscuits, cooked a fresh mess of greens. Big old pot of rice for gravy. Pass the black-eyed peas, if you please. Bless this food to thy service. Have more gravy, yeah, pass the salt. Save room for Jell-O, sour orange pie, cup of coffee, sit and stay a while. Whose hands till the garden? Who pulls the nets ashore? Tell me, where did food come from? Who owns the stores? Well, B&B became New Save, A&P, IGA, Olympia Supermart, post Second World War, while Butcher in Punta Gorda sold ground round, killed the day before. Mullet on ice, boy cleans them in the back, wrap them in paper, take them home in the sack. Whose hands till the garden? Who pulls the nets ashore? Tell me, where did food come from? Who owns the store? Well, B&B. Yeah, well, I did that one already. Publix reigns, Winn-Dixie's hanging on, Sweet Base up and gone. Does Walmart have you? Well, there's Jim's You Pick just south of town, Warden's Organic Farm. There's fish at the dock, fruit in your backyard. Mama baked biscuits, cooked a fresh mess of greens. Big old pot of rice for gravy. Pass the black-eyed peas, if you please. bless this food. Amen.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. And right on cue, after I mentioned Chakra, Chakra came on.
Yeah,
So
good.
Chakra_power for being here like always. He's a gamer. So if anybody that's watching on Twitch, please go visit Chakra_power. He supports us a lot, and we thank him. He's been here almost every show, and I'll tell you, he's one of our best fans out there, and we like giving him some love back as well. So thank you, Chuck. So that was fantastic. It made me hungry.
Yeah.
Just want to say,
A little bit of history, a little bit of food, the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's great. I love it. And I love the opening line, Michael. You took a little poetic license there with "If you please sup with me."
Yeah,
fantastic. Such a great line.
Yeah, that was good.
And it's very reminiscent. Speaking of Chakula, we got Chakula and Chakra all over the show today. Chakula had introduced me to Pete Seeger, and Pete has a song on our Hunger Benefit CD, "The Time Is Now." Speaking of labors of love, this was a real labor of love. We produced this in the year 2000, and we're re-releasing it now on Facebook. If you just go on and search "The Time Is Now to End Hunger" on Facebook, you'll come right to the benefit compilation. And Pete has a song on here that he wrote for his wife, Toshi. And it's called "A Little of This and That." And it's very much along the lines of what you were singing about, a little bit of this food, a little bit of that food. And it's really the stone soup story where Toshi used to make enough stew to feed the whole sloop group down there in Beacon, New York with the Beacon sloop. And it goes back to when Pete was at a soup kitchen and he was asking the person that was running the soup kitchen, like, how do you do this? How do you pull this off all the time? And her reply was, "Oh, we get by with a little of this and that." And Pete immediately picked up on that, and that was the name of the song. He wrote it for Toshi. It tells the stone soup story, which is really the basic tenet of the 1 of 52 Hunger Network, is that if we all kick in, we all do a little bit, what a difference it'll make. So really excited to have Pete's song on here and so many other great artists.
Isn't that like an amazing thing about these fantastic writers? When you just say something and then they can turn that into something like unbelievable. That's an artist. Yeah. That's an artist.
That's for sure.
Some of the things that I've written that I've liked the very best were things that I was either given an assignment or, "Oh, Mike, you got to read this book and then write a song about it for me," kind of deal. Or I've got these notes and we want to do something about my mother. Would you write us something about that? And so getting invited in is like a blessing to invitation to pour out some whatever creative juices that you might have. But I seem to do better if I've got somebody who's asked me or that I'm committing it to someone in particular. It's that human connection that really matters.
That's so great. Matter of fact, we had on the show last week one of our local artists, J. Michael Graham, and he told a similar story. And his song, Tattoo Taboo, I believe it was, he was at a songwriters association meeting, and the audience would throw out lines for people to pick up on and write a song. And his assignment was Taboo Tattoo. And he was like, "Oh, how am I going to write a song about that?" But boy, he played it for us, and what a great song it was. So this show is a Causation. Ron, I got to thank you for making this possible, because it's really allowed us to highlight some of these great artists. And you don't have to be a 1 of 52 member to be on our show. Certainly if you come on and you're helping us and you're donating your time and talent for the show, you might as well join us, because there's your action right there. And as Ron has said so many times, money's great, food donations are great, but really your time, your talent, in giving, even if you're donating your time at a food pantry or a soup kitchen to help make it happen, that is huge. And that can be your action, and it doesn't have to be limited in any way, shape, or form. We're looking to take all these actions together. And literally what our slogan is strength in numbers. And that says it all in literally a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's like last week, we had people watching the show while we were filming and airing live, and Nick Cozzolino was in there, and he committed to jumping in on one of these shows. So we got to get him on.
Yep, got to book him.
And I'll tell you, it's that simple, really. You just say, hey, we'd love to be participating in this and spreading the word, and that's all it really takes. It doesn't, it's not like you have to have an enrollment to be a member. It's really just saying, hey, I can give a week or a day.
All I need to hear is count me in, and you're in.
That's all it takes. And it doesn't, not necessarily has to be even music. If you have a venue where somebody can just perform, and it doesn't even have to be like a music venue. It could be anything. It could be, a coffee shop like Java Madness, right? It could be, a brewery, wherever. It could be anywhere. I don't care if it's a shopping center. It doesn't matter. You can give your time. We can make it work. We can make it work. So, it's all in working together. And it doesn't matter, where you are. We can make it happen. I mean, we're up here in Rhode Island, and Michael Haymans right now is in Florida, so we're making it work, right? So it doesn't matter where you are.
So before we get to another song, let's talk about a few of our upcoming events. We talked about the festival, and this will give you an idea the type of variety of events and the ways people can participate. For instance, one of our artists, she actually, I think, is an artist, although she's using her organizing skills, Michelle Girasoli, and she's going to be having a community meal that she's pulled together at her local church, the Kingston Congregational Church, and that's coming up this Sunday. You can just go on, I love the website, it's kingkong.net, and you can look at the site and learn all about the community meal. And you can participate there in two ways. You can participate by helping to prepare the meal beforehand, and then sit down at the meal with your neighbors, and everybody gets a free meal, no holds barred, no strings attached. It's just a free community meal.
Is that the one where King Kong is the chef?
Yeah, right. He's gonna have to wear a hairnet though.
Yeah, a full body hairnet.
Yeah, right. And coming up on also right at the same time as the Hibiscus Festival. I love it when we have events happening overlapping. Al Olson, one of our 1 of 52 members, and he was on a recent show with us, and Buddy Cavallari, who was also on a recent show with us, performing at Java Madness down in South Kingstown. They're doing a benefit for the St. Andrew's Food Pantry and Personal Needs Closet. So you can donate food, cash. You can donate shampoo and personal needs for their pantry down there. And that's going to be May 6th at Java Madness, starting at 2 p.m. And I've been to many of their events. They do at least 2 of these a year, and they're always a hoot. Al Olson does an amazing job at pulling that together. Jen Chapin, I don't have the date in front of me, but Jen Chapin from Harry Chapin's daughter is having an event coming up celebrating Harry's 80th birthday. And she's doing with the Chapin family. And Jen keeps on the tradition of Harry doing World Hunger Year. And just Google World Hunger Year and you'll come right to it. And this event coming up is at the Kensnick Theater. And that's down there in, I believe, Long Island, New York. Let's see. Just want to throw out one thing. It's not actually a 1 of 52 event, but there's an amazing food organization in Pawtucket called the Elijah Project. And I think most Saturdays they're going to be having this drive-up food distribution. And you can just search on elijahproject.com, and no stipulations. You basically no walk-ups. It's a drive-up, and they'll give you a bag of food, no questions asked. So our friend George over there at the Elijah Project is doing some amazing work. Coming down the pike, I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but Motif Magazine is having a food truck festival at R1 Karting in Lincoln, Rhode Island. I believe it's in August. I'll have more details on that coming up, but you'll be able to donate non-perishables at that fabulous food truck event they're doing at that huge venue up at Lincoln, Rhode Island, R1 Karting. And on August 15th, we have a very rare event where it's a 1 of 52 member holding a concert to benefit another 1 of 52. And this is going to be July 15th at Tavern on the Hill in my hometown of West Greenwich. It's going to benefit the Project Hand Up, which is a food and hunger and homeless organization out of West Warwick. And the organization they run is called Local Music Watch. They do an amazing job of promoting local music. They do a directory every week of all the bands that are playing everywhere in our community. And this will be a big event all day, 5 amazing bands playing. We'll be posting some more information about that in the near future. I think that's about it for upcoming events. We had a couple of great events. J. Michael Graham and High Plains, the folks from High Plains, did an event this past Friday at Foolproof Brewing. It was a fantastic event. And my friends Gary Hop and friends down there at Dan's Place in West Greenwich did an Earth Day event during the day, big cleanup, and that night they performed live at Dan's Place. And you can go to the website, 1of52.net, which will direct you to our Facebook page at 1 of 52 Hunger Benefits, and learn about all these upcoming events. And we're so glad to have you, and so glad to have you with us today. Ron makes this show, Music Causation, possible. And without further hesitation, let's get to another song by our guest today.
So this song is For the Love of Kids, and Johnny Cole and I wrote it. We were Moonshine Holler. He was Moonshine and I was Holler. And this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And what had happened was we were learning that kids in school, where there was a lunch and breakfast program that was being fed to the kids at school. And I think that they finally expanded it to regardless of need, that everybody got a lunch or a breakfast for a while. But at any rate, there was a segment of our community that when the kids were in school and they would come back on Monday and talk to them, and were telling the folks at school that they hadn't had anything to eat all weekend, that the last meal they had was Friday at lunch and then breakfast on Monday morning at school. And
Wow.
So a group got together and started feeding on Saturdays at one of the community centers in that part of the community, and an organization formed for the love of kids. And Johnny and I wrote a song for the love of kids and dedicated it to them, and it goes like this. Did you have a good breakfast? Do you want to do lunch? When the supper bell rings, are you sure you'll have enough? And can you remember last meal you missed? Have you seen the hungry look in the eyes of a child who did for the love of kids? For the love of kids, feed them all. For the love of kids, do you dress in the latest styles, designer or tailor-mades? With your walk-in closet full, do you still find nothing to wear? Well, a coat of many colors is soiled when it's all one has, with the shoes of another kid and holes in your underwear. For the love of kids, for the love of kids, clothe them all for the love of kids. Are you laid back in your spacious home? Feet up on a stool, yeah, man. Thinking about a fine addition or a waterfront move. Well, picture a child, confused and afraid, not knowing whose house she's in or how long can they stay. For the love of kids, for the love of kids, shelter them all for the love of kids. Make sure your kids get all of the breaks. Attend the very best of schools, no matter how long they take. But some children can't read, some they can't count. You know, without our help, they're bound to be left out. For the love of kids, for the love of kids, teach them all for the love of kids. This song I sing comes from the heart, which is where to look to find a way to do your part. Opportunity is each child's fair chance to dream for tomorrow, not live hand to mouth. So let's give them that chance. For the love of kids, for the love of kids, do it all. For the love of kids, do it all, for the love of kids.
I love it. Great lyrics and socially conscious
You know,
theme.
whether their parents deserve your help or not, the children didn't have anything to do with that. And
Absolutely.
so get past this judgmental part about feeding the hungry people is like feeding the bears or something. They don't feed them. They make rules against being able to feed people in parks. Unbelievable how
Really is unbelievable.
How callous people can be.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it all, and that's why people like you and Steve here, you guys are making a difference. And if we get at least one person to jump on board from this show, that means that I'm making a difference, and the person that jumps on is making a difference as well. And it's all it takes. If we can just add one person, every episode, that makes it better.
Yeah,
For sure. Ron, maybe you can tell us where everybody can tune in and how they can donate.
Yes. So kids, adults, all of you, if you want to help out, it's just as simple as just tuning into the show to start with. So you can tune into the show at YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, at Facebook at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Twitter at Broadcasting RI, and of course you can join in like Chakra_Power is on Twitch at RI_Broadcasting, and Trovo Live as well. Just jump on, throw some comments out there, let us know what you're thinking. And remember, if you are anywhere other than Rhode Island or Florida, like Michael, it still doesn't matter. We can still help your area as well by you just jumping in and throwing down. Say, hey, we have some events coming up as well. In our area, benefit hunger.
Yeah, we'd be happy to publicize
We,
them.
we will absolutely post those up. So
Page,
yeah.
and we have a link up there if you're in the Rhode Island area or not. You can donate directly to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. If folks don't know where to donate in the area, we kind of default to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. They're part of America's Second Harvest, Feeding America. They're one of the affiliate food banks in America here. And you can donate directly to them. You can donate to Feeding America on a national level. And we have a link that you can access both local and national up on the screen.
Absolutely.
So folks can get on your page, can go and see this. They don't have to be live streaming to watch it. I went on and took a look at some of the shows, and then just share those and make sure you spread the word about this show to your friends.
That's a great point. We do archive all the shows, so they'll be up there forever.
So this is our 9th. All 8 are very visible on YouTube and Facebook at Rhode Island Broadcasting. You can watch them, and hopefully we can get more artists jump in and do this. And it will always help. It never hurts. It never hurts. So sharing, like I like to say, sharing is caring. And, that could be the way just sharing these episodes and spreading the word. It doesn't take somebody's money. You just take a simple click of a share, and that helps. It all helps. So everything we generate from this show goes towards, ending hunger. So all of it, every penny.
Becoming an engaged human being in your community and your broader community. Sometimes people think, well, there's no difference that I can really make, and there's so much lined up against that there's no, what's the use kind of thing. And I've got a poem that I invite people with. It's called Say It, Sister. Speak, though silence calls and inertia binds, though the deaf control and the dumb lament, though quiet comfort cautions. Utter words, mere and more. Share experiences rich and wretched. Express ideas daring, different, even dangerous. Say fears and hopes. Too easily the complacent and corrupt mark us all mute and mediocre. End the charade. Child hearts will hear. Reason, reason smartly ringing. Whisper, even now whispered, will in time be sung forever. Say it, sister.
Wow.
Nice.
Very powerful.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing that.
Nice.
Love it.
Look, and we've talked about other places like Foolproof and Java Madness that does a lot for the cause, right? It doesn't necessarily, mean they've directly sponsored our show, but they've done so much that we keep mentioning those places. But if you do want to sponsor the show, and it doesn't matter what dollar amount, that is open on your end. When you sponsor the show, that sponsorship, that dollar donation is just that. It is a donation to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. And so whatever you decide to sponsor the show for, we mention you, and that's what we do.
Yeah,
and it helps. So
you're getting good by doing good.
Yep. As you see, the upper corner near Steve, we have our show logo, and what that is our slide. And when you sponsor the show, your little thing could be right up there in the corner. And if there's more than one company, we'll just keep rotating it. And but we also mention everything on the show. You can have a little still slide that we will read, and so the people on the podcast end will just get the audio. They will know what we're talking about as well. So it is definitely worth it. I mean, it is for a good cause. I mean, I don't get a penny.
No,
I
all
don't
goes
get a
to the
penny.
cause, 100%.
So it all that sponsorship money goes to the cause, 100%. So
And thank you so much for being here with us today, Michael. We have time
Sure.
for one more song. Can you grace us
Okay.
with the song, please?
This song is the theme song for my radio show. I wrote it after reading a book by David Quammen, Song of the Dodo, Biogeography in the Time of Extinctions. And so this is Extinctions Zoo. Remember the dodo, the passenger pigeon? Makes you think about the condors. Want to save them all from extinction. Like the Carolina parakeet, we're called to the whooping crane. Lord, I hope all this saving we've started, it's not in vain. We're building a zoo. Wild things are dying, what should we do? We're building a zoo. Save them now or say I do. Build crossings for the panthers. Reintroduce the wolf. Make local grizzly bear parks and nearshore waters manatee pools. Put a fence around the wild lands to keep all the people out. Grow smallpox in a petri dish. Lock it up in a vault. We're building a zoo. Wild things are dying, what should we do? We're building a zoo. Save them now or say I do. We're in a time of extinctions. It's happened before. Ask a saber-toothed tiger, a woolly mammoth, or a dinosaur. And from the cosmic perspective, does it matter at all? Destined for our sun to burn out, season cycle to the fall. Mankind is part of nature. We are all part of God. Here we are now acting and being acted upon. We know we ought to tread lightly, dance in time to nature's funky beat. Still eradicate exotics in our guilt that we call weeds. We're building a zoo. Wild things are dying, what should we do? We're building a zoo. Save them now or say I do. We think our wilderness must be managed. God's gardeners, we assume our role. Rank dispersion and displacement, it's unacceptable, it's out of control. Well, how responsible are we for how we change what we do not control? I think the strength of our efforts sometimes is the weakness in our results. Building a zoo. Wild things are dying, what should we do? We're building a zoo. Are we building cages for them or me and you?
Good stuff. Love it. Great
So,
lyrics.
so the Zoo is your radio show.
It's a radio show. I was with a large law firm for 27 years, and when I left and hung my own shingle, I understood what their budget for being involved in the community, and they had it under advertising budget, by the way, was. And so I thought, well, how am I going to keep my name out there? And so I decided to combine my poetry and musical part of my world with my explanation of the law and society. And so it's a general variety show. I'm Michael P. Haymans. I'm here to talk to y'all about law and society. And I buy time from iHeart, and then they allow me also to sell spots within it. And so I help pay for it. I cover part of the nut, but not the whole thing. And so it's a fairly expensive proposition, but it does, in fact, keep me out there, not only in our local area, but because of the World Wide Web. I have sponsors in Montana. I have folks that listen in throughout the United States and in Taiwan, Mexico, and Scotland, actually.
Nice. How do they find you, Michael? What's the address?
The address, you would go to iHeart, the WCCFAM.com, and then that pops up a radio station here in Punta Gorda, a iHeart, and then you click up in the top left on the three little bars, and it drops down the on-air shows, and then you would click on Building a Zoo, and you can catch the archives of that through there. Or it's on 11:05 till noon Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, and it streams on your iHeart platform, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Great. Well, we're so glad we could promote it for you, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah.
Fabulous show.
Thanks for having me on.
Really enjoyed it. Very, very.
Yeah. So don't forget, check him out. Check out the Hibiscus Festival at. If you want to find out information, it is thehibiscusfestival.com, all one word, but like Michael had said earlier. And also Building a Zoo on Thursdays, 11:05 to noon at WCCFAM.com.
That's it.
Mouthful.
It becomes easier to say more often you say it.
Yeah, it all comes back with that Mark Rush brain fart that I had. I couldn't say his name on air.
I like to finish with a poem, if I may. May I tell you another poem? You have time for that?
Absolutely,
certainly.
So, because there's an attempt to communicate with people, and we find that language is inadequate. And so we reach out with every kind of tool that we have. That's what the humanities are about. And so this one's called Explain the Sky. How can I tell you the ocean? What explanation is the sky? Do flying fish illuminate the fishing bird's dive? Well, imagine me a metaphor, a twinkle in the eye, and sing from me a mountain range, paint clouds floating high, and yell at me a river that ties us in the by and by to rain and waves lapping round rocks. Hear the wind cry? Well, does the deep blue sea console you? Does outer space make you want to fly? What makes me think you forever? Pray, hold me close and sigh.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Michael.
for sharing us with us.
That was Michael Haymans. From Build a Zoo, the Hibiscus Festival. You got to check both those things out. We've had the links up there very often throughout the show. Please share. Thank, of course, Michael for being here. We loved every minute of it. I'll tell you, it went by fast.
It does go by fast. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. All right, so for the rest of you out there, of course, I want to thank Chakra_Power, who's watching us from Twitch at RI_broadcasting. You can watch, follow, subscribe, do all those things to all of our social media, especially YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting. We have 1,135 followers now. We gained another one. You can check us out at Facebook at RI Broadcasting. We have over 10,000 followers. 10K. Yes, that's right. One of them could be you watching right now. So join us on that. And also, of course, on Twitter at Broadcasting RI, 333 current followers on there. Trying to get to that 400. We would be awesome if we can reach that 400 by the end of this month. And of course, Trovo Live. You can watch us on all of those things. And Spotify, podcasts. So check us out on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. We're all over the place. We're all over the place. So please check us out. Follow, share the show, jump in, throw comments. If you're an artist and you want to be on the show, please, by all means, get in touch with us. And we'll see you next time on Music Causation, Steve, right?
Most Mondays at noon, we'll be here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. Thanks so much for our guest today, Michael Haymans.
Yes. Have a good night, everybody.